What's going on, everyone? Terry Julian back in the building. And folks, today I'm talking about MSTR. And we're going to do some chart analysis as well as look at some possible trade scenarios on MSTR. Nobody. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, as you know, we're going to go and look into the hourly chart so we can find our support and resistance. Go ahead and get our horizontal lines set up. So we know our most recent high is up there at around 725-ish, 727. All right, let's go find some support levels now. That was attempted support. All right. See some support, some resistance that was up here as well. Okay, and then we're not going to go too far back here. All right, don't want to go too far back here. Otherwise, if we break these levels, then we can come back and talk about those. But now we'll go ahead and go to the daily chart because, again, I love how hourly support and resistance lines translate into beautiful daily support and resistance lines. So as we can see here, as we zoom out on MSTR, as you can see, they correlate perfectly into previous price action going back to 2021. Right, some support resistance lines here. So what we're seeing in MSTR today has a lot to do with the previous price action in 2021, as nobody really wants to jump in front of this train because they are afraid of pullbacks on Bitcoin and what's going on with this, thematic trade, which is the approval of a Bitcoin ETF. Now, people are saying, well, today's run in Bitcoin should have justified a run in MSTR. Not exactly. I mean, again, in the short term, all stocks can trade awkwardly, can be mispriced, can trade above their valuations, below their valuations. So, and a stock like MSTR, which has incredibly high beta, all right, incredibly high implied volatility, which is probably the better word to use, you're going to see some days that has kind of like mismatched, pricing in terms of what the market thinks and what it should be trading at. So it's fine, and you should be able to accept that. And that's why we don't play options so close, right? We're not playing 3-day options. We're not playing same day expiration, because you get days like this, right, where Bitcoin was up well over $1,500, but today MSTR was down 5.5%, right? So now that we've set up our support and resistance lines, let's go up and let's look at our 50 and 100 EMA. And as you can see here, we've been trending higher since October. Again, this is a thematic trade based on Bitcoin being finally basically a corporatized asset class that large institutions can now take position in and hold onto their balance sheets using ETF exposure. And also available for private citizens as well, who may not be interested in getting a wallet and keys and all of that other stuff. Now, if I'm making a trade in MSTR here, let's go ahead and put up the Keltner channels. All right, so we're below that middle Keltner channel line. So personally, this is not a trade that I would be taking here, right? I would not be taking any trade on a stock that's trading below that middle Keltner channel, right? So this is automatically a no-go for me. Now, assuming we were above the middle line of the Keltner channel, what would I be looking at? As always, I want to be below that 50 and 100 EMA, because I want to be beneath the price action. I'm not interested in making assumptions that the market is going to go higher. I'm always going to assume that the market is either going to be slightly negative or flat for the rest of the month, right? That's what I'm going to assume. I would love to believe that markets just go straight up every day, all day for the rest of the month, but we always have to be prepared for Bitcoin to go sideways, to sell off, or sell off slightly, right? So let's look at some potential options for us as we go. Again, pull up the EMA. As you can see here, that 100 EMA is about 470, 478 right now. So I'm going to look at price action that's well below $470 as where I would like to be able to be underneath this price action on MSTR. So we're going to pull up this chart here of the calls and puts of MSTR. I'd like to go out considerable on this just because the delta, the implied volatility is so high here. We don't need to come in close because we can get, a week or a couple of days of really great price action, and we can be able to achieve significant amount of, return on investment based on, how much implied volatility is trading here. So just looking at the chart right now, I can tell you I really like those 430s, right? So we're going to go ahead and, again, these are always going to be bull call spreads. That's the only way I trade because they protect me from downside as well as sideways price movement. So we're going to sell 430 and we're going to buy the 420s, and let's see what they get us. And as you can see here, we'd be risking 800 to make 200 on this, whereas our protection would be starting at as low as $428. So let's do some math and see where this sets us up at here on our calculator. So let's go ahead and look at where we would be at if we took this trade. Spreads are very wide here, so this is a very, dangerous ticker. So you got to really know what you're doing here. All right, current price here is $598. Your strike price is $430. Option, look, let's just be in the middle here. Let's say 196. Okay. All right. So, MSTR would need to move $4.68% in order to be immediately in the money on this trade. 4% move is nothing for MSTR. You can do that in a day. That's really a no-brainer type of trade. And distance to max loss is almost 32%. So this is the kind of trade I would take on MSTR if I was looking to jump in right now. Some people look at the days to expiration and they say, man, I don't want to be in the trade that long. Nobody's saying you got to be in the trade that long. What we're saying is that you're using having that ability to be in that trade that long for protection. That's your protection, right? You're buying that kind of time value just in case MSTR doesn't act accordingly over 10, 20, 25 days, maybe even 30 days, right? Now you've got all that time to be able to allow the stock to recover, allow the theme of Bitcoin to recover. Who knows what could happen? But more importantly, in case of strong downside move, you're not killed alive because you don't have any time value left on the option, right? So this is the kind of play I'd be looking at. Again, the money calculator says this is exactly what I would be looking at, guys, right here. I would take this trade all day long. But again, it's not set up the way we would like to see this set up right now here below that second, the middle Keltner channel line. That seems that's something dangerous here. It doesn't mean opportunity. A lot of guys would say, oh man, this is an opportunity. No, it doesn't mean opportunity. This is the first time it's been below that line going back to October. So there's some structural damage here that's taking place. Allow the damage to be fixed, right? Allow the damage to be fixed. Allow price action. Allow other investors to give you the cue that, hey, things are much better now. Let's jump back in here. So here's MSTR, folks. Again, this is a $2,000 stock or more, right? This is a stock that could easily be over $3,000 by the end of the year based on what I know Bitcoin can do. But allow the price action to give you that confidence and then jump in once you see that. It's your boy Terry Julian. Tomorrow is another trading day. Trade well.